All right, so I think we've had enough stats for now, and let's get back to building these charts. The first one we're going to do is we're going to look at balance. We've already done one for age. Now let's do a similar one for balance to really solidify in this technique. So we're going to take balance and we're going to create a bin, and there's our bin menu. We're going to say that the size of the bin should be about 10,000, and we'll click OK. There we go. So all we need to do is duplicate this chart, duplicate sheet, we'll call it balance. And here all we need to do is take balance bin and replace age bin. And as simple as that, right? So one thing we notice here right away is that there's a lot of $0 balances, or well, balances in the $0 category. They might be anywhere between 0 to 10,000, but if you right click and click view data, you will notice that you go to underlying here. You will notice that balance bin, that's balance, that's the bin. And then if you look at balance, you will notice that they're actually mostly zero. So even if we order them, there is one, wait a second, there's one balance, $3,768, and the rest are zeros, completely zeros. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that's normal. Like sometimes people in a bank, they have zero balances, and that's, they just, because they have other accounts, or maybe they moved their money out but did close this account and things like that. So in this case, what we're going to do is we can just exclude this from our analysis. Of course, you have to put in a note that you're excluding something from your analysis, but it just does make sense because we want to look at the actual values. So people with balances, how are they behaving? What's going on there? Are they leaving? Are they staying? And so on. So just right click this column that you want to exclude and select exclude, and that's it. It's gone. So here you can see a filter. We won't be talking about filters per se in this course. It's a whole separate topic, and I covered that off in the separate course on Tableau. But basically what this filter does is if you just click here and click show quick filter, you'll see the show quick filter pop up on the right. It's excluding a certain category, which is the $0 to $10,000 bin, and that's allowing us to just analyze everything else without it. So what we can do now is perform our analysis as per usual. Here you can see a very interesting picture. It's a bit different to what we saw previously, so I'll just show you age over here. This was age, right? And you could see like there's obviously people who are not are different, so they're not conforming with the average. In here they're higher, there's a higher chance of these people leaving, lower chance of these people leaving. In balance, it's a bit different. They're kind of more uniform here, so you can see across the board it's around 20%. Some are higher, so these early ones and the later ones are higher, but once again here you can see that you have less records, so there's a higher chance that this will be a just a random error, or just like some sampling error. And same thing over here, you can see that this is just due to the way the sample was selected. You can't really rely on these things. For instance, for a 2 and a 1, you can't even run a chi-square test. You have to have at least 5 units or 5 observations in each cell to run a chi-square test. So you can still run one for here, but overall here you can see that there isn't that much of a difference. Maybe a bit over here more likely to leave, a bit over here more likely to leave. So that's very interesting. What we can do now is I would like to change the color of the top chart over here because it's balanced, and I'm kind of used to using balance as green. There we go. And so that's pretty much it for balance. What you can do from here is the way this situation is different is that you don't observe something that is like screaming out at you. You can continue investigating these discrepancies if you like, and if that is important to your company to understand, like, okay, so that's 29%, that's 25%, why is that higher? So if you feel that that is an important discrepancy, then you can apply the techniques that we've talked about to this specific case and take it further. However, if you feel that this is more or less conforming with average and you'd rather focus on other things, you can simply leave it at that. You can just say that from our analysis, it doesn't seem that there is a very high change across different categories in terms of probability of people leaving. And you just go from there and you focus on other things. Of course, it'd be great to cover everything, but that's why we call it data mining. You want to find the gems. You want to find the real golden nuggets rather than spending your time on things that won't give you much value. So if you target people with special offers who are in this age group between 45 and 60, you can really impact the amount of people that's leaving your company. But do bear in mind, you have to also take into account the actual number of records. So this distribution helps. So you can see that you might want to target these people more than these people because there's more of them. Whereas in balance, yes, these do have a higher percentage of leaving, but how much return on investment are you going to get if you try to fix this instead of fixing the problem that you can perceive with the different age demographics? So that's balance. The other one I wanted to look at today was estimated salary. Let's have a look at that because it's kind of related to balance. So we'll just duplicate this as we normally do because it's fast. And here we'll just say estimated salary. And let's take estimated salary and drag it. Oh, the bins. We haven't created a bin, so let's create a bin. Create bin. So same thing, 10,000. And here, just take the filter off, so there's no more exclusion. So we just want to keep the filter on that sheet, not on this sheet. And estimated salary, just drag it instead of the balance bin. And here you can see a different picture one more time. So I'm just going to change the color here quickly. Color, up to you. Honestly, what color you think is the best? Please select that color. I'm going to select gray. So here what you can see is a very interesting picture, very uniform distribution here, very uniform distribution over here. So first things first, you look at this chart and you say, all right, obviously there is no impact whatsoever that from salary upon the probability of the person leaving or upon the decision of the person to leave the bank. So salary is not an important variable. And we would leave it at that if we only had this chart. But this chart is telling us something very interesting. It's actually telling us that, whoa, look, there is an equal number of people in every single bin for estimated salary. So we're saying that in our bank, there's the same number of people that earn between $180,000 and $190,000 as the number of people that earn between $30,000 and $40,000, and as the number of people who earn between $80,000 and $90,000. So this really kind of contradicts the whole balance situation where we have this nice normal distribution, and like as it probably should be, this is lots of people here, probably like you can say that they earn somewhere in the mid-range. These are people earning in the lower range. These are people earning in the higher range. And you would think that balance would somehow be related to estimated salary, or at least, well, you got a hint here that estimated salary is actually has the word estimated in it, meaning probably that the bank doesn't know what they're earning and they're estimating what these people are earning. And you'd think that you'd use the balance to estimate what a person's earning, right? Somehow in the calculation would figure there. But it doesn't look like it because there would be a trace of a normal distribution, but there isn't here. So one thing you can report from here is that this is going above and beyond your task. So here, you've already said that no significant impact. But then looking at this, you can say, hey, by the way, it looks like the estimated salary calculation is completely wrong or out of whack because it's not adding any value. It's just putting people uniformly across all bands. And although that's not related to your work, that's how data mining works. You will find that you will uncover very interesting insights about completely unrelated things to your analysis while you're doing analysis. And this is one of them. So you can go back to the department that runs this estimated salary and say, hey, your calculation is outdated, or there's an error, or something is wrong with it. Let's have a look at it. I can show you that this is not normal. This is not how it's supposed to be. And maybe just by doing things like that, you will add way more value than just by delivering your project. And that's happened to me heaps of times, that I was doing one thing and then I noticed something in the data that led me to uncover something else and then something else. And then bam, I actually delivered so much more value than I just delivered on the project. Just because the project you're doing, people already know what value they'll probably get from it. Here, you can uncover completely random things, and that's just fantastic. I personally find that is the fun part in data mining. You have a problem that you need to solve. Along the way, you find additional insights, and lots of them. So there we go. That's what we found about estimated salary. That probably the calculation is wrong, but the way the calculation is structured right now, we can see that this variable does not have a significant impact upon our variable or our probability to likelihood of person to leave or decision of the person to leave. So that's us for today. And as a homework exercise, I would like to suggest that you look at the remaining two variables that we have. So there will be credit score and tenure, and see what you can find there. Maybe you'll find some anomalies, and maybe you will drive some insights. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, happy analyzing.